Hello and welcome to Breakfast for Pancakes. I'm your host, PK Sullivan. It's my mission with this channel to help make people better home cooks. And to that end, today, I'm making a turkey sandwich. Okay, it's a little more involved than that. We're starting with a 4-pound turkey breast and we're going to cook it confit. Confit, as you might remember from my confit garlic, is the process of cooking something at low temperatures in oil. Much lower than you would fry something, but still enough to cook something fully through. This originated as a preservation technique for goose and duck. The meat would be cooked immersed in fat. This kills all the microbes and makes the food safe to eat. By cooking food low and slow, immersed in fat, you get to develop lots of flavor and tenderize the meat so that it is just soft and falling off the bone. By leaving it immersed in fat and letting it cool, the fat formed an airtight barrier preventing further spoilage. By covering the container, putting it in a nice cool place such as a cellar, they're actually able to store this cooked meat for months at a time. It was a really good way to preserve the meat from ducks that were harvested in the fall. Modern uses of confit are less focused on preservation. The term has really come to mean any food that is cooked low and slow, completely immersed in oil. This works similarly to poaching food, except the liquid medium isn't water or a broth, it's the oil. I like this method for boneless turkey breast because the texture of the final turkey is the absolute best I've ever had. When you slice it across the grain, you end up with a beautiful piece of turkey that is moist and is still fork tender. The other great thing is it has a lot of flavor. We're going to dry brine the turkey before we cook it. Dry brining is a process of salting the meat and letting it absorb the salt. That doesn't just improve the tenderness and moisture, but it also helps the turkey taste more like turkey. I've been experimenting with confit for the past couple of months, and this is actually what I did for our Thanksgiving dinner. It's just a household of 2, so rather than cook a whole turkey and have all those leftovers, I just did a simple confit turkey breast, and we had an amazing Thanksgiving dinner. Thing is, I'm still kind of hankering for a leftover turkey sandwich. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to confit up a turkey breast, make some more Thanksgiving sides, and have ourselves that giant Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. It's going to be great. Stick around. We're seasoning our turkey with herb salt. For that, you're going to need a spice grinder. I recently invested in a good one, and I absolutely love it. It's got this stainless steel tin with a cap, connects into the motor assembly. That means you can actually wash this pretty easily and it doesn't get pitted. It even has 2 different blades, one for spices and one for herbs. Hope you have your tickets to the Scarborough Fair because the herbs for this bird are parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Add your salt and all of the herbs to your spice grinder and pulse it until you have a nice fine powder. I had to scrape this down in the middle, but in the end I wound up with a pretty fine green powder. That's what you want. Onto the turkey. Go ahead and remove the skin. It's real easy to use a nice sharp knife and some flicking motion to peel the skin away from the membrane connecting it to the breast. The skin won't crisp up because we're not cooking it in an oven. We're cooking it immersed in fat, so it would just be flabby and gross. We're not going to eat it, so just go ahead and remove it. Once you have your turkey skin removed, go ahead and herb that bad boy up. Use your herb salt and rub it on. Don't be shy, use all of it. You really want to get those herb flavors to penetrate into the turkey because we're going to be washing off all of the excess bits. The herbs themselves don't cook up nice, so we don't want to eat them. Once your turkey has been fully rubbed, go ahead and stick it in the fridge for up to 3 hours. You don't want this to go too long because otherwise it will over salt. This turkey sandwich is going to have a gravy, and since we don't have pan drippings, we need to punch up the flavor a little bit. Today we're going to be making a dark roux that I'll use in the gravy tomorrow. It's a simple roux. Whisk together equal parts vegetable oil and all-purpose flour until the mixture is smooth. Transfer to a 350-degree oven. We're going to be stirring this every 30 minutes for the next 2 to 3 hours. Here after half an hour, you see it has started taking on a light brownish color. Be careful when you whisk this together. I've heard it described as Cajun napalm, and that's absolutely true. It is hot and sticky and will burn the shit out of you. Each half hour, the roux gets progressively darker until we reach this sort of rich, peanut buttery, milk chocolatey color in the bottom right. That's what you're looking for. When your roux has reached that point, your roux is done. Pour your roux into a bowl so it'll stop cooking and can cool. Again, be very careful with this. It will burn you. I love how silky smooth and beautiful and rich this roux looks. It's a wonderful ingredient, and it's also just really pretty to look at. Okay, now it's time to wash your turkey. I don't recommend washing poultry as a matter of course. It doesn't actually clean your bird and you just end up spreading salmonella throughout your kitchen. However, here we need to rinse off the herbs and the excess salt. We don't want it to get too salty and the excess herbs don't cook well. So you'll notice I take care to position the turkey how I want it. That's because as the turkey rests overnight, it will firm up and hold that shape. And since I was washing turkey, now I have to wash my entire sink and counter because I don't want salmonella spreading throughout my kitchen. The next morning, go ahead and fill your Instant Pot to the halfway mark with vegetable oil. In this 8-quart model, that's about a gallon. Then set your Instant Pot to either the ultra setting or the keep warm and dial it in at 150 degrees for 4 hours. Let it preheat for 1 hour before you add your turkey. I transferred mine to a trivet. It makes it wonderfully simple to add and remove the turkey from the Instant Pot. I don't want this turkey sitting directly over the heating element. This gives the heating element a chance to heat the oil, which can then circulate around the turkey. Simply pick it up by the handles and drop it straight into the oil. Make sure it's fully submerged. Add the cover.
Et voila!
Ingredients for mashed potatoes. 1 kilo potatoes, sour cream, salt, and pepper. Go ahead and fill a pot with water, set it to boil. I like my mashed potatoes to be somewhat rustic, so I leave some of the peel on, and I chop them roughly. This means that there will be some al dente bits even after I'm done mashing it. When your salted water is boiling, go ahead and add your mashed potatoes. Be careful not to burn yourself like I did. Set your camera to time lapse and let the potatoes boil for about 20 minutes. When the timer goes off, drain the potatoes into a colander and then transfer them directly back into the pot. Add your salt, your pepper, and the sour cream. Get yourself a hand masher and go to town. I like to use sour cream because the slight tang lifts up the potatoes and keeps them from being quite so heavy. Potatoes made with butter just taste a little flat to me. Ingredients for a brown butter double roux herbed turkey gravy. You're going to need 60 mils of butter, some fresh herbs, 60 mils of all-purpose flour, 475 mils chicken stock, a tablespoon of dark roux, salt, and pepper, both to taste. Set a medium saucepan over medium heat and melt the butter. You want it to completely melt and actually start boiling off the water before you add your herbs. Once it's got a good boil, add your herbs and stir them in. The herbs are going to infuse the butter with their essential oils, lending flavor. Continue cooking, stirring frequently, until the pot actually quiets down. All of the moisture in the butter and the herbs boils off, and you're left just fat and the solids. At that point, you can go ahead and remove your herbs before they burn so that we can get started on our brown butter roux. Clear out all of the rosemary, sage, and the sprigs of thyme. Add your flour to the brown butter and whisk until smooth. Once you have a blonde roux and the flour will no longer taste raw, go ahead and slowly add some of your stock. It will clump up immediately, which is exactly what you want, and then add some more. Continue adding slowly, whisking until it's smooth between each addition. This will ensure you have a silky smooth, beautiful, thick gravy. Once all your liquid is in, let it come up to a boil so that it will fully thicken. Once your gravy has fully thickened, go ahead and add your dark roux. The roux has been cooked to the point where it won't have much thickening power at all, but it is going to be a flavor bomb. Add all of it and stir it and watch your gravy turn from a pale brown to a beautiful, luscious dark brown. Add some salt and pepper, whisk to combine. At this point, it's essential that you taste your gravy. If your gravy tastes a little flat, add some salt. If it tastes a little overly bitter, add a hint of balsamic vinegar. Half a teaspoon is more than enough. Look at how thick that is. On to the stuffing. I have a confession to make. I'm a great cook, but I love stovetop stuffing. 350 mils chicken stock, 60 mils of butter, and 1 package of stovetop stuffing. I use chicken stock instead of water to pump up the flavor, and I reduce the liquid from 1.5 cups to 1.25. That keeps it from being quite so soggy, just sort of a sticky clump of stuffing, which is how I like it. Bring your stock and butter to a boil, mix in your stuffing, give it a good stir just so everything's connected, cover it, set it off heat for at least 5 minutes. At this point, your turkey's probably ready. Strap on your barbecue gloves and pull the turkey out using the trivet handles. Let the oil drip off before you transfer it to a waiting pan. Pat it dry with a paper towel if you're feeling health conscious, and then lightly tent it with foil. Let it sit for 30 minutes before we move to slicing. It is still steaming hot, but it is just soft and tender and beautiful. Look at how good that slices. It just falls away from the knife. Absolutely wonderful. I wish I had a longer knife so that I could get cleaner slices with less sawing motion. I honestly can't get over just how pullable and beautiful, stretchy this turkey is. I mean, it looks like a good brisket. It just pulls apart at the seams. It's tender, moist, delicious, so good. And it tastes like turkey. It's got big turkey flavor augmented by those herbs that we put in. It's turkey and herbs. I've never had a whole roast turkey that tastes as good, as much like turkey and as herby as this. It's utterly phenomenal. Blows my mind. Here we go. It's sandwich time. Get yourself some toast. I'm not going to tell you how to make toast. You know how to make toast. Order of operations is important. Start with a layer of mashed potatoes. This will form the base. Your turkey will then sit on there and sit securely. You're going to want to put the cranberry sauce between the turkey and the stuffing. Recipe for the cranberry sauce is in this link here. Cranberry sauce will keep the stuffing immobile. It's not quite a glue, but it's enough that the stuffing sticks and stays in place. On goes the stuffing. Oh, I love that stuff. And then go in with the gravy. Oh yeah, look at that. Thick, brown, shiny. Oof, that is good gravy. And don't be shy with it. Cover that sandwich. The bread at the bottom will soak in. You need enough for the potatoes to get a little bit. Now for the tasting notes. This is the sort of sandwich that you gotta go in with fork and knife on. I'll be honest, I meant to stop and give you some tasting notes as I went about it, but this was too good. I just ate the whole damn thing before I remembered that I had to give tasting notes. But if you've ever had this sandwich, you know what it's like. It's a fork full of Thanksgiving in one big bite. There you go. That's how you can make absolutely awesome turkey deli meat in your own Instant Pot at home. I'm thinking of starting to just make my own turkey for sandwiches, can control what goes into it. It's so good. It slices beautifully, it's tender, it's flavorful. I get to pick what seasonings go on it. Plus, this was an awesome excuse for me to make a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. I only got to have one after Thanksgiving because I didn't make enough sides. My wife loved the stuffing, so that disappeared real quick. The only thing I had left over was the cranberry sauce. I'm gonna be using this turkey for my lunches for the next probably couple weeks. I'll freeze half of it and I'll slice it up later. My go-to recipe for turkey in the future. When cooking a turkey just for my house, just for a few people, the results are phenomenal. Honestly, just cooking a breast like this, serving it sliced with sides or in sandwiches, perfect. It's exactly what I want. I think you should give it a shot. If you do, let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out as a content creator. I would love to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can start really pushing out to a larger audience. If you like what I do here and would like to support me, you can do so on Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, you get early access to my videos, plus additional bonus content. At $10 a month, you can actually help pick one of the videos I shoot each month. There's a poll on Patreon each month, starts on the 1st, ends on the 15th. The patrons get to vote on what video I will shoot in the next month. The video coming out in December is actually going to be the sous vide cheesecake recipe that I have. It's absolutely wonderful. You won't want to miss it. If you'd like to help pick, head over to Patreon. Link is in the show notes. I'll see you next time.